Warning, the views and beliefs in the following program does not reflect the views of Boom Broadcasting. We give full creative control to our creators and do not believe in cancel culture. I know whoever views this podcast will either celebrate or not celebrate Halloween. And that's okay if you do or you don't. We're going to have some fun. We're going to break down these sports. We're going to be respectful. And remember, cancel culture is an orchestrated plan by the man. So, viewer discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope the spooky season has been good to you this year. And hopefully it's even better as it comes to a close at the end of this week. Hopefully you enjoyed your haunted hay rides, your trunk or treats, your costume parties, your haunted houses, and all the other festivities for the season. Now here on QuickHits, you know I'm a fan of sport, but I'm also a fan of holidays. So we're gonna celebrate some Halloween here on QuickHits. And as you can see with my shirt right here, I got the three amigos of the slasher movies. Got Michael, Freddy, and Jason on this shirt right here. I copped this shirt at the Apple Festival in my hometown of Wilkes County. So of course I had to get it in time for Halloween. We're going to celebrate Halloween, but we're going to get these sports as well too, because the NBA began last Thursday and it was stacked up. It was great. We're going to analyze that. The World Series popped off on Friday. Good 3 games that we had here watching this past weekend and on the Monday. And we had news in the WNBA last Monday that we're going to talk about, of course. And I'm going to put a cap on this WNBA season, hopefully. If there's no other news that'll hit the pipeline, but we'll see. And the NHL is going on. And I realized this looking back on the Tuesday episodes that I foolishly forgot the Thursday night games for college football and for the NFL. So I'm going to have a segment for Thursday football to get you in for the college game and for the pro game. So sit back, relax, have you a cup of coffee with me, Podcast Smitty. So hit me with my theme music if you will.
Can't fall off, now they holler he'll turn, thinking I'ma sell out, talking just to feel heard. I never listen, although they say it's strictly.
Welcome to Quick Hits. I'm your host, Shannon Smith, aka Podcast Smitty. If you're new to the show, what's good? I'm Shannon. I'm a fan of sports. And in 4 months of this podcast, 10 different sports have been covered on Quick Hits. So I'm thankful that I get the sports to you and that I can give you a barrage of sports. So on Tuesday and Friday, you're going to get a show from me. And I hope you enjoy it. If you want hot takes, if you want analysis, if you want picks, if you want a little bit of comic relief, this is the podcast for you. And I encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to Boom Broadcasting if you haven't already. And watch all the other shows that we have. We have a little bit of everything for you. We got a lot of sports podcasts, but we have some podcasts that are outside of sports on the channel. So feel free to go through them all, give them a like, go ahead and drop something in the comments. Hey, we enjoy it. We like to get back to you. Hey, and make sure that you watch Quick Hits every Tuesday and every Friday and engage with me as well, too. But if you're one of my quick hitting brothers and sisters, ouch! Welcome back. Let's start the show. My plans were to wrap up the WNBA by talking about the season's top headlines. However, when this news dropped, I changed my mind. So last Monday, the WNBA Players Union announced that they have opted out of their current collective bargaining agreement with the league. This was expected since the CBA was signed in 2020, and they felt like the players were not going to sign when negotiation came up. The reason this is happening is because the WNBA had a banner year in attendance and viewership. The league signed an 11-year media rights deal that is valued at $2.2 billion. WNBA PA president and All-NBA, All-WNBA second team member Nika Agumake stated that the charter flights, pensions for former players, and better practice facilities were some of the matters stressed by players concerning this situation. The league and the players have until October 31st of 2025 to come to an agreement, or an unprecedented WNBA work stoppage could happen. Now, I have two takeaways from this news here. And the first takeaway is I agree with these ladies 250%. The league grew in attendance and viewership and earned money on the TV deal. Why not? They should get paid for what the WNBA has grossed because they're the players. And the players are one of the sole reasons why this deal and the money's been poured in. The players are solely responsible for that. And the way they planned this, it was beautiful. They planned it perfectly. They did it the day after the WNBA finals, the historic 5-game series that the Lynx and the Liberty had. It was perfect. You know, the overtime win, wonderful fashion. Next day, they decide to forego the contracts while the eyes of the sports world were still on the WNBA. It was perfect. Great planning, great idea. Absolutely. Good job. So yes, I agree with the players. These players deserve to get paid more with all that the WNBA has bought in and is earning. They should. The second drawback, this is coming from a fan of the WNBA since its inception in 1997. The We Got Next campaign. I watched it. I saw it. From Leslie, Lobo, Coop, Witherspoon, Swoops, Staley, Tarazi, Moore, Della Dawn, Candace Parker, Tina Charles, Swin Cash, Sue Bird. List goes on and on. And on into the new school players, Nafisa Collier, Asia Wilson, Arike Gumbawale. These wonderful players out there. The original 8 WNBA teams. The 3 logo changes. I seen it. It was there. The basketball was entertaining. The skills were there. It's all been there. Nobody cared. See, this is why everybody should be friends with a wrestling fan. Pro wrestling, like any sport, benefits off 2 things. Finely tuned athletes and a good storyline. You know why the WNBA made the money that they made? Storylines. They had the athletes. They got the players. But the storyline was there. And that storyline started with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. From Angel Reese taunting Caitlin Clark in a national championship their junior year, to Caitlin Clark's senior year, where she gets her revenge, she gets that national championship game. They lose to a very talented South Carolina squad, coached by the incredible, legendary Dawn Staley, who played in the WNBA, might I add. And one of the things that Dawn Staley said during her championship speech is, I credit Caitlin Clark. Dawn Staley's somebody who's seen this before. She knows it. So it started with them 2. They have hardcore fans. Angel Reese's fans are hardcore. Caitlin Clark's fans are hardcore. My buddy Adrian, who lives in the Midwest, his daughter started watching the WNBA when Caitlin Clark got drafted. He was messaging me in my inbox, asking me about the rules of the game. She liked Caitlin Clark so much, my man Adrian was watching game with his daughter and wanted to learn the game. So he would talk to me about it. It was really, really cool being a part of that. Both these girls have hardcore fans. You know, they call Angel Reese Barbie. Beautiful girl, great basketball player. She does a heck of a job. Angel Reese was incredible in the front court and strong on the offensive and defensive glass. And let's be honest, Caitlin She was outright Rookie of the Year for a reason. All WNBA first team for a reason. That squad that she played for was a bottom of the barrel squad. They got to the playoffs. Caitlin was a huge part of that. Her teammates gelled around her, led the WNBA in assists. 3-pointers made by a rookie. She had 122, I believe, this season when it was all said and done. I believe that. She has the unlimited range, the offensive prowess. Of course, and the storyline was there. These two are going to be Bird and Magic for most of their career, dating back from when it happened in college. These two right here are going to be one and the same, intertwined. It's a heck of a story, so why not? Now, I will say this. Most of it is media-based and narrative-based for situations that I can't talk about on this podcast because I want to stay solely with sports. We'll talk about the other stuff later on and some other time. Maybe I might have another podcast to do it, but on this podcast, no. So it also gets me to this. Some of these players in the league fouled Caitlin very, very hard this year. She was targeted for hard fouls. They fouled her as a welcome to the league, a little bit of hazing, or they fouled her out of spite. I'm okay with competition. I'm okay with players drawing back and forth. I like it. I'm an 80s, 90s. I'm an 80s baby, a 90s kid. I saw this stuff in the NBA all the time. Reggie and Spike Lee. Mike was a trash talker. These guys talk trash to each other. We watched it. I saw it. Anybody who is my age and older saw this. It is what it is. It makes the competition great. But the fact that, the hard fouls came and the targeting came. These same players that targeted Caitlin, some of these players that targeted Caitlin are the same ones with their hand held out wanting to get paid. And they're going to get paid because of how she's done. The storyline here. People are watching the WNBA because they're seeing this storyline unfold. These players are not saying any of that when it's time for them to get paid. And another thing, some of these people with podcasts, some of these media types, some of these people who want to discredit Caitlin Clark, who want to not say her name on podcasts, looking at you, Cheryl Swoops. These same people right here were some of the same players and people that were supporting the WNBA getting mad, talking about, oh, we're not getting paid on the same scale as NBA players. Now this is happening. It's getting to the point where the way that Caitlin is and the way that Angel is, the storyline that's playing out right here is going to get these ladies paid. It may not be in the cleanest way. It may not be in the way of just promoting basketball, but let's be honest with you. The NBA has benefited off the storyline. So is the NFL. Almost every bit of sports has benefited off of some type of storyline. And the WNBA has a storyline now, and it's going to benefit them. They've got a player that's going to is going to put this on their back to make sure these other players are getting paid. What's wrong with that? Where's the anger? Why should there be anger? There shouldn't be any anger. It should be a respect. You may not like it. Now, I'm not one of these people who sits back here and says, you got to like Caitlin Clark. I'm not going to be wearing a jersey. I'm not. That's just me. I'm not going to be wearing a jersey. I'm not a big Indiana Fever fan. I love the league. I don't have a squad. Maybe I got to pick one soon. I don't know. But I love these players. And these players are great. They do a wonderful job. So this is where I look at it, and this is where I want it to be understood. You don't have to like a certain player, and it's cool. If you don't like Caitlin, if you don't like Angel, that's cool. But keep it basketball-like. Keep it basketball. And that's the main thing. So with all this being said, the WNBA players and the WNBA have to come with some agreement, and the clock is ticking. We've had some moves in the WNBA. There's been some coaching changes, some GM swaps. We'll get into that another time because this will be the end of the WNBA. The offseason has began. I'll be covering that another time, but I'm looking forward to covering the WNBA for another year, and that'll be coming next year. Or if we have any other WNBA news that may happen in between that time. But until then, this is your WNBA Quick Hits for this week. Now, of course, Fridays are for football, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently here on this Tuesday show. I'm going to make sure to capture the Saturday action with the poll changes, with the marquee victories from the weekend. And I'm going to get the Thursday night game for the NFL as well, too, along with the marquee matchup from Tuesday through Thursday here for college football. And then on Friday, I'll make sure to get the headlines for college football and for the NFL, along with the picks for the NFL and for college leading into that weekend. Get it? Got it? Good. So let's go ahead and let's get college football going, as we had a pretty good weekend. It was a good weekend of football. Nothing too monumental in the upset world, but we had some notable outcomes. So let's start with these major blowouts. Oregon getting it done against Illinois, just taking them out of the equation. Penn State beating Wisconsin, even with their quarterback getting hurt. Before halftime, they get it done. Notre Dame beat Navy. Navy's high-powered offense. They go in there and they take care of business, beat Navy down. And then Bama putting up the shutout against Mizzou. There was a lot of doubt about Alabama after Alabama blew it to Tennessee and then blew it to Vanderbilt. But after the Tennessee loss, they go ahead and rebound against Mizzou, and they get the big win in Tuscaloosa. Then you have your near brushes. Boise State winning by only 5 against UNLV. UNLV is a pretty good football team, but Boise State's got the high-powered offense from Ashton Genty, who is pretty much the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, running the ball like a young Barry Sanders. He got it done against the running Rebels. And then Ohio State over Nebraska, small margin, 21-17 was the score. Ohio State about gave it away, and that would have been a ripple effect on that top 5. Then Texas against Vandy, only winning by 3. Texas giving it away to Georgia at home. Played Vanderbilt. Looked like Vandy was going to get another upset special. That Vandy magic, like it was going to happen. Not this time. And then Kansas State beating Kansas in their rivalry game. And SMU pulling out the win against Duke by 1. Then you have your statement wins. And there were some statement wins this week. I feel dumb for this one because Indiana beats Washington. Indiana's coach, very, very confident guy, gets called cocky, but he's a very confident guy. He goes out there and he wins. And they sure did it without their starting quarterback, Curtis Rourke, who got hurt out indefinitely with the thumb injury. They ended up getting it done, and they got it done convincingly at home. And then Ole Miss with Oklahoma. Oklahoma gave it to them a little bit. Oklahoma was contending with them offensively, but Ole Miss was able to pull away and get the win in Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Then BYU, who was only picked to be a 1-point winner over Central Florida. They take the long ride. They take that long plane ride, and they get the job done on the road. And then the big game, the primetime game, and it lived up to everything that it was. Texas A&M gets the win over LSU and College Station. I picked LSU to get the win, but LSU didn't get it done on the offensive end enough. Texas A&M's defense was able to hold that offense at bay and able to get the win at home. So now we got to welcome some guys to the party. So welcome to the party, Miami in the top 5. They edged out Texas after Texas almost gave it away to Vanderbilt. Of course, Miami beating down a depleted Florida State squad. Florida State was contending at one point in time, but Cam Ward is showing why he is a consideration for the Heisman Trophy. No Fitty Burger this time, but they end up getting it done. They move out Texas. Texas goes to number 6. Then you have the 8th, 9th, and 10th spots going to Notre Dame, BYU, and Texas A&M in set order. All 3 of these guys getting marquee wins and able to get back into the top 10. Notre Dame, after losing to Northern Illinois, they fell. But after that, everybody's felt their wrath ever since. BYU still getting slept on. End up getting into that top 10. And Texas A&M, after a big win at home, they get in there as well too. So, welcome to the top 25 to Washington State, one of the only surviving teams to stay in the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is the Pac-2. Washington State gets in there after rattling off 3 straight wins, getting a win this weekend. They go in at number 22, and the number 23 team in the nation goes to the Colorado Buffaloes. Coach Prime, baby, getting his guys into the top 25. Travis Hunter, looked at as probably the best college football player in all of the nation, and I believe it. Playing both sides of the ball, and he's playing with very great intensity. Probably one of the best receivers in the league, I'd have to say. But playing both sides of the ball, he's showing why he's one of the best. Getting in there, Shedeur Sanders having a very good game at quarterback as well, too. So it was a very good job by the Colorado Buffaloes getting into that top 25. And unfortunately, with those guys moving in, there's some guys that are moving out. So Clemson and Iowa State, who had the bye week this week, dropping out of the top 10. I'm going to let them live because they were not playing this week. But Vanderbilt and Navy taking it on the chin to their opponents here, going out of the top 25. So Vandy and Navy ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. So yes, we got 5 college football games that are on between Tuesday and Thursday. Of those 5 games, one of the games that captivated me the most, I like the Tuesday night one on ESPN2. That's got the Louisiana Raging Cajuns versus the Texas State Bobcats. The Raging Cajuns are 6-1. The Bobcats are 4-3, but the Bobcats are taking them to be the 3-point favorite at home against the Raging Cajuns. I like the quarterback matchup in this game, as I've got Ben Woodridge and Jordan McLeod going against each other. I think it'll be a pretty good game. I like the way the game's going to be. It's going to be a very good Tuesday night game at 7:30 on ESPN2. But give me the home team. Give me the Bobcats by a small margin, about 5, I would say. About 5 against the Raging Cajuns as they take it at home on ESPN2. And then your NFL game on Thursday nights. You've got the New York Jets and the Houston Texans. The Jets dogged it against the New England Patriots on Sunday. And then the Houston Texans, only a 3-point win against the Indianapolis Colts. I've been saying it all season. The Jets putting everything on 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers with a bad leg. Yeah, man. Bad idea, bad move. The Texans have the momentum. They're still one of the top teams in the AFC. They're definitely going to win the AFC South. I don't see them losing, even with a short week. I don't see them losing to the Jets. The Jets have no chemistry. They don't know which way is up. So I got the Texans going to win it on Thursday night for the NFL. That's your football in a nutshell before the football show on Friday. This is your quick hits for Tuesday football. Enjoy it. And of course, I told you I was going to end the show with a little bit of Halloween festivity. So we're going to have a little bit of fun. Got our sports in, so now we can celebrate Halloween. Now, I'm going to give you a little something called the 5 for 5. That means I'm going to give you 5 categories, And I'm going to give you my top 5 in all 5 of those categories. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first one is going to be the top 5 must-watch Halloween movies. Now, this is according to me. I know everybody has their own top 5. I'm going to go ahead and hit you with my top 5. These are the movies that I must watch every year for Halloween. I need to watch it. If not, my Halloween is not complete. Now, this is a little bit of a nostalgia. I may come with something else different for the next Halloween. So keep yourself locked here on Quick Hits. So we may go ahead and get into that. So, of course, and these are in no typical order. In this category, they're in no particular order. No movie is better than the other. I just have to watch all of these before the spooky season is over. So, the first movie I have, which is on my top 5 list, Tales from the Hood. Now, I got to watch Tales from the Hood because this is a movie that depicts horror and the social issues. If you watch Tales from the Hood, you will see that the horror is encased in police brutality, domestic abuse, gang violence. This is something that I look at that is socially conscious. I like the fact that the social consciousness in this movie is in full effect. Rusty Cundiff, good job, my man. Like the movie, timeless classic for me, a big cult classic. Number 4. Now I had to make it a little lighthearted because, Tales from the Hood is a little bit on the racy side to some people. So I got to make it lighthearted. So my number 2 movie is The Addams Family. The original Addams Family in 1991. The original one with Christopher Lloyd playing Uncle Fester and Christina Ricci as Wednesday. And, of course, the late, great Raul Julia, who played Gomez Addams. I thought Gomez Addams was real cool as a kid. I always wanted to do that. That'll be a Halloween costume that I like. So if by chance I get my Morticia, we're going to do a Gomez and Morticia Halloween. So yes, the Addams Family, the 1991 version, not the animated version, not that one, but the 1991 version with Raul Julia. So go ahead and find that. If you need to, go find it. It might be streaming somewhere. Go watch it. So yes. And then number 3. And the reason why I picked this one is because this movie traumatized me as a kid. It traumatized me, scared me. And that movie is Candyman. So Candyman got me. Tony Todd did his thing as Candyman. Was a classic. Great movie. I enjoyed it. Of course, Candyman, another social depiction in a movie, but it was really, really dope. Like Candyman, the original Candyman. And plus, the remake of Candyman was dope too. I like the remake as well too. The remake was good. So watch either or. I would say watch either or, but ain't nothing beating the classic. So I watch that original Candyman, and then I go and watch the recent Candyman. The Jordan Peele Candyman. So yeah, definitely do that. And number 2, got to bring it back to a comedy. Ernest Scared Stupid. One of my favorites. Hilarious. Ernest P. Roy. He's the man. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Great movie. Made me laugh. I remember watching this movie as a kid with my sister. Real, real good movie. Liked it. Liked it a lot. So sorry about that. That was number 4. My fault. I'm going in order from 1 to 4. And then the 5th movie, of course, that I got to watch, another slasher, because I like the slasher movies as well. Scream. Gotta watch Scream. This slasher was a slasher when I grew up with, from when I was in, middle school. Scream came out around that time. And I remember when Scream came out. It was insane. So Wes Craven, he did his thing on that one. So, of course, going back through them all right here since I messed up the number order. You got Tales from the Hood, number 1. Addams Family, number 2. Candyman, number 3. Ernest Scared Stupid, number 4. And Scream, number 5. But that's not in any order. So, of course, that will be my must-watch Halloween movies, according to me, Podcast Smitty. And then my next one, the number 5 one, of my 5 for 5, the number 2 list on the 5 for 5 here is my top 5 Halloween candy. Now, this one is in order. So, yes, we're going to go from 5 to 1. 5 being number 5, and then number 1 being favorite of all time. So let's go ahead and do it. The number 5 all-time Halloween candy, according to me, is that Nestle Crunch Bar. Oh, I love it with the chocolate and the crispers. Always beautiful. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Enjoyed every time I got it in the bag for Halloween. I was like, yes. I love it. So yes, got to go with that classic Nestle Crunch Bar in the blue packaging. Yes. And number 4, Sweet Tarts. So we got to go with something a little bit sour, a little bit sweet. I like the Sweet Tarts. You get the little pack there with the 3 in there. So that's some good stuff. Like that sweetness and that sour coming together. Beautiful combination. So number 4 is Sweet Tarts. Number 3, the Tootsie Rolls. Classic Tootsie Rolls. That wonderful chocolate flavor. Nothing too heavy. I like the Tootsie Rolls. So when I got a pack of them, not just the chocolate Tootsie Rolls, there was some flavored Tootsie Rolls as well too. They had the blue Tootsie Rolls. There was a vanilla Tootsie Roll. They had like a blue raspberry one. So yes, I like the Tootsie Rolls. Good to me. So I like me some Tootsie Rolls. So yes, number 3, Tootsie Rolls. Now, I know somebody out there might kill me for number 2 because on many of the lists throughout the internet, this is the number 1, but this is number 2 to me. Number 2, your Reese's Cups. I love the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Love them. They're great. Chocolate, peanut butter together. That was my favorite. Still a favorite of mine. Love the Reese's Cups. They get the little pumpkins around Halloween. They're good. I don't care what shape they are. Don't care. Give me the Reese's Cups. I'll take them. So yes, number 2, Reese's Cups. And number 1, the number 1 Halloween candy that I look forward to as a trick-or-treater. Dots. I love the Dots. Great gelatin candy there. It's got the little gelatin inside, little chewy candies. I love the Dots. I used to get them when I didn't get popcorn in the movie theater. I'd get Dots. But when I was trick-or-treating, when I was out there trick-or-treating, going from door to door, house to house, you got that little treat bag that's got the yellow box of Dots. Those are my favorites. Love the Dots. So yes, my Halloween candy, top 5, rounding it out. This is in order. Number 5 is your Nestle Crunch. Number 4, the Sweet Tarts. Number 3, the Tootsie Rolls. Number 2, Reese's Cups. And number 1, the Dots. Oh, and I need an honorable mention. And the honorable mention of the candy is got to be the strawberry candy. Y'all, who in the world makes this stuff? Who makes it? I don't know who makes it, but they got it right. I love the strawberry candy. So yes, it's been around for years. It's been a staple. That strawberry candy that your grandma got at her house, that your great aunts, your aunties, they have that candy. Or when you're in church and hey, Mom, Grandma, I want some candy. And they give you that strawberry candy. Who makes it? No one knows. But they got it right. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So yes, the honorable mention for the Halloween candy is that strawberry candy that doesn't have a name. We'll go to the next one. So now the next one we got to go to. Now look, my must-watch movies, I did that when I did the Halloween candy. So I'm going to go into like a little bit of a fantasy world here and go with my top 5 movie monsters of all time. So yes, this is going to be in a particular order. So we'll go ahead and get these movie monsters, top 5. So number 5, we'll start with number 5. Blah, blah, blah. Count Dracula. That is number 5 to me, Count Dracula. That pale face. Ew. And the man sucks the blood. So yeah, Count Dracula, look into my eyes. Bela Lugosi, what's good? So yes, Count Dracula. Oh, he's an eerie guy. Turns into the bat. He's upside down. He's everywhere. Count Dracula. Ugh. Hate to see that in the dark. You know, when the sun comes up, you're safe. But when the sun goes down, Count Dracula, he's there. So number 5, Count Dracula. And number 4, we got It's Alive! It's Alive! Frankenstein's monster. You know, of course, you know, Dr. Frankenstein is the doctor. When they call the monster Frankenstein, he ain't really give it a name. It's called him Frankenstein because of him. It's Frankenstein's monster. So yes, Frankenstein's monster is number 4. It walks all crazy, and Dr. Frankenstein, with all the parts, putting it all together, just that eerie look. You know, Frankenstein looks eerie. He ain't no brain. Ugh. Friend. Yeah, he's huge. Monstrous. Scary. Gotta go with Frankenstein. So yeah, you might hit him with a stutter step. He might not be able to turn corners there. So if you're fast, you can probably get away from him. But when he gets his hands on you, forget about it. So Frankenstein, number 4. And number 3, you might be a little surprised with number 3. But I'm going with Jaws. Gotta go with Jaws. Man, Jaws was everywhere. You couldn't kill Jaws. You couldn't kill him. He was in that water, that shark, Jaws, that great white. Jaws gonna get you. And, you know, of course, the theme of Jaws was incredible. So that's a recognizable theme. You knew it was Jaws. You knew Jaws was coming when that happened. So give me Jaws. Give me Jaws. Number 3. And number 2, Godzilla. Godzilla. Ugh. The big old lizard, that big lizard, the fire-breathing lizard, big old Godzilla. Tall as could be, utter destruction. Godzilla, number 2. And number 1, we got King Kong, all time. Greatest movie monster of all time has got to go to King Kong. So yes, going with King Kong as the number 1. He's the GOAT. King Kong. So yes, your movie monsters in order: Dracula, Frankenstein, Jaws, Godzilla, and the GOAT, King Kong. On to the next one. Now I'm going to go in a different direction because I'm going to lead the last 2 into each other. So this one, the 4 to 5 on the top 5. My top 5 slasher weapons. So yes, I love a good slasher movie. I like a good slasher. So of course, what's a slasher without his weapon of choice? And so the top 5 slasher weapons, starting with number 5. I'm going to surprise you with this one. I got Sweeney Todd's razor. You know, Sweeney Todd, after doing all that time locked up, solitary confinement, Sweeney Todd come out ready to get everybody. So Sweeney Todd, when he had that razor, he'd sing to you and he slashed you with that razor. Ooh, that's rough. So Sweeney Todd at number 5, the Razor from Sweeney Todd. And number 4, you got Freddy's Razor Glove. Freddy's Razor Glove. You hear that glove, you hear that screech of that razor. So yes, I think Freddy's Glove was definitely underrated. Great slasher weapon. Freddy did work with that glove. So number 4 is Freddy's Glove. And number 3, surprising, Jigsaw's Traps. Now, he done the one, and I'll never forget this one on one of the Saw movies where he did the reverse bear trap. Whew! That was rough. Jigsaw was that methodical guy that got you hurting the other man to save yourself. That was insane how he done that. Just the mentality of Jigsaw. So, got to go with Jigsaw's Traps. And number 2, we got Leatherface's Chainsaw. Oh man, Leatherface with the chainsaw. He always done work with that chainsaw. Leatherface with the chainsaw coming at you, chasing you down. You don't want to catch that man in the dark in a back alley. He cuts you up and he wear your skin. You know, you got to be real insane to wear somebody's skin. But hey, that's what Leatherface did. And last but not least, number 1 is Jason's machete. Man, come on now. You know Jason gonna get you. Jason didn't even have to run. He come with that machete. Whew, it's over. The machete would get you. So yes, my top 5 slasher weapons of all time. You got Sweeney Todd's Razor. You got Freddy's Glove. Jigsaw's Traps. Leatherface's Chainsaw. And Jason's machete. Move on to the next. And last but not least, I know I'm probably going to get some people mad at me in the comments, but hey, bring it on. We're going to do it here. Your top 5 slashers. Slashers, not slasher movies. Your top 5 slashers of all time. Let's go ahead and get into this top 5. I got it in order, so going from 5 to 1 like the last few. This is what we're going to do. So number 5 on the top 5 slashers is got to be that little maniacal dog, Chucky. Yeah, that small little thing running around there getting you possessed, Charles Lee Ray. Oh yeah, nasty dude possessing himself in a doll before he died. And then Chucky just went out there and got everybody, and he found many ways to kill you. So yes, so Chucky, number 5. And number 4, we gonna go with Leatherface. Leatherface cutting you up, wearing your skin in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think that was based off of a true story. I might be wrong. We don't know. But Leatherface, number 4 slasher of all time. And number 3, you got that nasty burnt face Freddy Krueger at number 3. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. Yes, Fred Krueger coming back at you in your dreams, so don't go to sleep. Freddy's coming. Freddy's coming. And then number 2, this is probably where I'm going to get a lot of backlash right here. So, you know, I'm going into the 3 amigos right here on my shirt. So number 2, Michael Myers. It's got to be Mike. Mike is that methodical guy. Mike is that methodical killer. I tell you what, Mike is one of those guys that's just utter terror. Big, tall guy, big, tall, and strong. He knows where to get you. He just has that face of terror. Just that face of terror. So Mike at number 2. And then number 1 all time. Hey, you know what? I'm biased. You can call me that. You can say whatever. But number 1, Jason Voorhees. Number one slasher of all time to me is Jason with that machete. Give me Jason and the machete any day of the week. Jason with the hockey mask on. He gonna get you. Jason turn around every time you run. Jason don't even have to run. Jason's around every corner. Jason's gonna get you. You can't get that man down. Every time you think Jason's done, he's back. And he'll get you every single time. So give me Jason. Jason Voorhees. Give me Jason. So yes, your top 5 slashers of all time. Chucky at number 5. Leatherface at number 4. Freddy Krueger at number 3. Michael Myers at number 2. And Jason Voorhees at number 1. Everybody enjoy your Halloween. I hope you enjoyed your spooky season. Until the next year when I make another top 5 that you probably hate. But still, tune in to Quick Hits and see you on Friday. Have a good night and happy Halloween.